All right, sorry about that. Apparently, I had to make an account, or maybe there was another way to do it, but it doesn't matter. I just made an account here. Um, Please don't use my link. I, the last thing I need is anybody else's money if this thing ends up going down. So, as you can see here, when they pay you, they put money into your lending wallet. Then you can transfer the money from the lending wallet to the Bitconnect wallet, and there is no fee for that, and they do a direct transfer. Now, what they won't do is give you Bitcoins directly for this from themselves. You have to go to the exchange. So as a result, the system is built in such a way where Bitconnect themselves have never really paid anyone anything. The only way they could actually pay you is if you could directly give them a Bitconnect token from your Bitconnect wallet and they give you an equivalent amount of Bitcoin. That's not an option. I don't believe that'll ever be an option. And that's that. They have apparently recently updated this Bitcoin Cash thing where they allegedly gave everybody an equivalent of Bitcoin Cash. Of course, that was only announced after the fact of everything, which means that they probably handed out very little. They certainly didn't give you any Bitcoin Cash as far as I know if you had a lot of Bitcoin in their, you know, bot. Uh, so to get money out of here, you have to go through the exchange. And the thing is at the point where there isn't someone to buy your token in the exchange, how do you, who do you sell your Bitconnect tokens to? Now, of course, you might say, well, that's how most other coins work. But the purpose of any other coin, generally speaking, I mean, probably most coins, if not all of them, it's not to buy it to give directly back to a company as a loan. You normally buy it and you hold it or you invest in it, short term, long term, whatever the case may be. But here, on a daily basis, people are receiving interest on their loans into the lending wallet. And at the point where I go to the exchange and there's no one there to buy this from me, the next day I'm going to have the same amount again and again and again. And it starts to get a lot bigger, the amount that I can put there for sale. Um, and at that point, I don't know how you get out. Will it come to that point? Not too soon, because at any moment where BitConnect sees that the, for example, when you go to the exchange and you come down here, they could very easily see, you know, they obviously have way more control over this exchange than what you had, whatever you see, of course. I mean, in terms of analyzing the data. And at any moment where, as you can see here, there's 116 pages of buying and only allegedly 23 pages of selling, you'll notice that at a certain moment in time, they can just stop paying, right? They can just decrease the amount of interest that the bot's going to pay you, at which point they only have to pay you what's guaranteed, depending on whether or not you put in more money. I obviously didn't go over the entire Bitconnect system from the beginning and the specifics of it because none of that actually matters. If you've noticed here, what difference does it make whether they actually have trading bots or not? Where exactly do they come into play in this entire system? I mean, they they don't put money into the lending wallet. They're not giving you Bitcoins out of their pocket. Um, I just don't understand why people say that they're being paid by Bitconnect when the reality is they're giving you Bitconnect tokens here, or a sum here of dollars that gets traded to Bitconnect tokens. I don't know why I almost said monopoly money there. But when you break it down, I just don't see how this company is actually doing anything with the bots. So, of course, you then have this entire Thailand business. They came out May 31st and said that anybody who deposited 20,000 or maybe a little bit more, whatever it was, maybe it was more, 20,000, whatever the case may be, for June and July would get a trip. Now, I don't know if that means that if you deposited $50,000 in May, they wouldn't invite you. It seems kind of messed up if I would have been a person who deposited, let's say, $100,000 in May and I don't get invited. It seems like it's like a push to, it's just another promotion to get people to put in money into their company. It doesn't seem like it's very much of a, I don't know, like a very, you know, a good thing to do for your customers that already have their money locked in. So from that perspective, that seemed bad to me. Also, the way that I think the way it worked was you paid for all of your stuff and then they would reimburse you. Nothing would be better if the way they were going to reimburse people is by giving them uh, the money into the lending wallet, forcing them to then sell it on the exchange and not giving to them directly. Um, that I mean, it's just another point where they wouldn't take. Now, of course, you could say, well, if they didn't give you the money to sell on the exchange, they could sell it on the exchange. But that isn't the point. The point is that they said that they would reimburse you. You would think they would just give you Bitcoins directly, and that's not what's going on. It's another um, basically deceptive sales technique is what it looks like to me. So they went to Thailand, and the great thing that the people said is that first of all they met Ken Fitzsimmons. He was right there. Then was the CEO, CFO. They were all there. On top of that, they got to see the bots in real action. They got lots of details regarding the smart card. And then, of course, last but not least, they had a dinner and had a party and discussed about how to promote this more throughout the world, the great platform that it is. Now, all of those things are true. None of those things are true, except for the last one. The last one's true. They talked about having parties and this and that. They specifically said there is no Ken Fitzsimmons. They're never going to reveal who the people at the top are because they're afraid of, I don't know what the word was that they used, but they're afraid of being, I guess, people intervening in their business or whatever they said about governments getting involved and intervening in how they operate. I don't know. It seems to me like people with big companies like Bill Gates and Jeff Bezos and those types of people, they don't really get attacked by the government. But then again, they run big businesses. And when people say that they don't want to show their face, it should really raise another red flag in the situation. Of course, the bots, they couldn't show you. Their stance on showing you the bots was you either trust us or you don't. Why would I trust you? I mean, nothing about this entire system should lead you to trust them. The only thing that they have done is put money every day over here into your little lending wallet that you can change to Bitcoin, to Bitconnect tokens, and then you can go to the exchange. I don't know how long this can last, and it could change. But on a side note, recently Overstock said that they are now accepting, I believe, over 40 cryptocurrencies. And it turns out that from what I could find, I couldn't actually find a complete list. I tried to do a search. Of course, they accept Dash, Monero, Ethereum, NEM, Bitcoin, and then obviously plenty of others. Bitconnect is not one of them. Funny enough, Bitconnect is number 14 on the coin market cap. And it turns out that the number 14 pick didn't even go in the first round. Maybe he'll go in the second round. Maybe they'll draft him when they start accepting more coins. But as of now, if one of the companies that accepts the most wide array of cryptocurrencies doesn't accept this one, that should be another thing that maybe should draw a little attention to your spider sense or whatever you want to call it. Okay. Now, one more thing regarding this coin. This is one of the few coins where its actual value doesn't matter. If this coin is $1 or $1,000, because I'm buying it, by the way, I'm talking about the main use. Of course, you can use coins for other purposes. But if you buy this coin for its main purpose, which is to buy the loan to Bitconnect, because that's the purpose. You buy 1,000 of them for $1 or one for $1,000. It doesn't make a difference. You just give it to Bitconnect anyways. So the value of the token doesn't really matter because you normally don't hold it and you aren't looking to, get as many as possible. It's kind of like a placeholder for a monetary dollar amount, which is what they trade with. And then I thought about it. If they have most of their tokens, presumably, why would they want to raise the value of the token so high? If you look at their chart, it's one of this. I'm sorry if my microphone isn't working great. It's very steady. The gains are very steady on their market cap. To say that it's unbelievable would be an understatement. But I was wondering, what advantage do you get out of having such a high cap if you're not really selling the coins? It doesn't matter what the value is, right? Based on what I just said. And then I realized that by having it on CoinMarketCap and having it be number 14, That is a huge advantage in terms of basically free advertising. I mean, anybody who comes into the crypto space now will see it. It's at the top there, and it's easy to see that it's there. Now, that's about all I have to say with regards to the system. Now, a lot of people come out and show you how much money you can make, and they show you, the great returns on putting in just a little bit of money. But what I want to show you is one better. I saw one YouTube video where just this one YouTuber's pyramid had about $3 million on it, under it. And if not just like the first level, all the levels. It was probably more than 3 million, but let's just round it to 3 million, and let's consider that this was before the Bitcoin Cash release, which was worth probably 1/6 of the Bitcoin. So they probably ended up having maybe close to at least 3.5 million just from that one. So what I want to do now is break out the compound interest calculator, of course, for a daily one. All right, and I want to show you what they're making, not necessarily what you can make. It's just what they have the ability to make. So let's go to the, this is 3.5 million. Zero. People love to see these things for some reason. Now let's figure out an annual interest rate. So if you go here and you look up Bitconnect price, I believe this will lead us to that particular information. So for the last 30 days, it's 1.14. But obviously, I don't want short term. I want to know what it's been for 6 months, and the average for the 6 months has been 0.89. Really nice. Really nice. So let's go over to our compound interest calculator. Let's break out an actual calculator real quick. And let's go to this 0.89. Now, if you were to deposit that much money, they would give you an extra 0.25% guaranteed. But I don't really want 0.25%. I want to underestimate everything because I just want it to be more legitimate. So they're at 0.89. So I just want maybe 0.1. I'm sorry, let's go back here. Clearly we need to add 0.1. Which leads us, of course, to 0.99. Now, they, from another Bitconnect video I saw, supposedly they make 20% and they pay out the rest, which means that they are making, on average daily, 1.18. Now, it's probably higher than this because they need to be able to pay the people who get 0.25% also, but for simplicity's sake, let's just go with this. We'll multiply this by 365, and we get 433% yearly interest rate. Now, I bet that most people don't give you this number as an interest rate because this seems unbelievable, whereas 1% a day somehow sounds better, even though it's basically the same thing. So we'll round this down to about 430. We will compound it daily, and we'll go 1 year and see where we're at after 1 year. Let's calculate it. Now, I'm on a 3-year plan, but we'll go with this. Let's break it down. After 1 year, it looks like we're going to have something in the vicinity of $248 million. A lot of people do a lot of work. They never make $248 million, but, not a lot of people start with 3.5 million, I guess. So let's just continue because this is what the company can realistically accomplish very easily, apparently, according to the information they've fed everyone. So then after 2 years, you're looking at 17 billion. Now, it looks right. This is 100,000 million. This is 17 billion. It's a good chunk of change. It's a lot of money. And that sounds incredible. Of course, as I said before, I'm on the 3-year plan. And the 3-year plan is where the money really comes in. We're talking about $1 trillion. You get Bill Gates, Jeff Bezos, Warren Buffett, you put them together, and they don't have a pot to piss in compared to what these people are going to be able to do in just 3 years. The $1 trillion. Now, 3.5 million is what percent of the market cap? I'm going to extrapolate a little bit here and just play with some numbers. 3.5 million. Well, if you multiply this by 10,000, which is 4 zeros, you would reach a, right, comma here, comma here, comma here, 35 billion. That's still less than a third of the current market cap. So let's just assume it's a 3 multiplier. So that would be 30,000. That means that this is 1/30,000th. It's actually bigger than that, but we'll just say 1/30,000th of the current market cap. Now, that is a ridiculous thing to assume that when our future value in 3 years is going to be $1 trillion, we're going to be trading at a, 30,000 multiplier of $1 trillion. Let's just go with 100. So we'll go with 100 trillion is what the coin market cap apparently is going to be just in 3 years, right? So we've got 100,000, 100 million, 100 billion, 100 trillion. We divide that by the current market cap, which is like north of 120, so we'll just call it 125 billion, million, billion, and we get a number here, 800. That's your money may very well increase 800x in the next 3 years, at least if what I can extrapolate here from the Bitconnect calculation. Now, I personally have about $15,000 invested. So if you break this down, this means that in just about 3 years, that's $12 million. That is, hold on a second, wait a minute. Hold on, let me do something real quick. $200,000. Okay. That looks good. But you know what? I'm not really the biggest fan of this car. I'm a much bigger fan of this. And this car, oh, it's a lot cheaper. I mean, I might go with this. I wonder if I could place the order now to be picked up like August 2020. I'm not really sure. I'm going to have to look into that. Now look, let's be serious, okay? Obviously, this calculator thing that I did here is ridiculous. To assume that somehow my $15,000 was going to become $12 million in 3 years, and that everybody else too is just going to multiply them, it's just a ridiculous assumption. And now I'm making a mockery of simple math. But what I want to leave you guys with is some honest information. So I'm going to sell everything that I have. I'm going to go ahead and take the 0.25% fee out of my own pocket so that it's exactly $15,000. No adding of money. The interest rate, you know what? I just want an interest rate of what it actually is, which is 0.89. I want no bonuses, nothing. We multiply this out by 365, and we are left with 324. I'm going to write this down to 320. Don't want to exaggerate, right? So now we're at 320 daily, 3 years. Now before, if the market cap had gone to $100 trillion, my money would have been worth 12 million, which is just ridiculous. It's just ridiculous for me to have made a mockery of the system. So let's see what reality is and what Bitconnect can offer you. Let's calculate that real quick. Is that 210 million? Turns out it's almost like 20x. 12, almost. It's almost like 20 times more. I see what I did wrong. You guys see it? Here it is. I looked up the wrong car. I don't know why on earth. What kind of a person is worth $200 million? I mean, that's what I need to be driving. A car that's worth about 1% of my net worth. This is fantastic. You know what? If this video hasn't convinced you to invest in Bitconnect, I don't know what will. And if this video hasn't convinced you to not invest in Bitconnect, I'm not sure what will. Try not to light your money on fire.